Welcome to the Land Your Bet Sports Betting Show, live show. Got Modi in the house. What's good, brother?
How we doing? Living the dream.
Yeah, we're good, man. We are living the dream. Got 11 games in the NBA. Are you in the overwhelmed there's too many games like phase, or are you happy to have more options?
I'm a little bit of both. I feel like whenever there are this many games, I will sometimes I start my process in the morning and I'd be like, all right, who's playing? Like, what matchups do we want to target? But I sometimes get like ADHD where I'm like, I look 25% into one and then I get distracted and like 25% into another. And then I'm like, wait a minute, I should have continued. You know what I mean?
I do.
So I think there's I think 2 to 4 games is like my sweet spot. Cause then you could really dive into it and you don't get ADHD going from game to game. Cause there's sometimes with slates this big where, I put out 4 picks on YouTube this morning and then the day goes on. And I'm like, wait a minute, why didn't I even look at that one? You know what I mean? And like, I just completely missed it. People are like, did you look at this? And I'm like, actually, no, I didn't. So I know I missed it.
But dude, that's the beauty of the live show every day. Honestly, like it's a decent amount of work, obviously, but like we find looks here and sometimes people bring stuff that I just didn't even think to look at. And then you're like, oh, okay, maybe they found it from another capper. Maybe they saw the hit rate, whatever it is, it's a starting point and it helps. And then the other thing is for everybody else with ADHD, like Modi and myself, what I do when I get into that point is I'm like, I did it earlier. I was like, I'm looking at Jaden Ivey. And then I'm like, wait a second, should I be fading something that was relevant to that? And then I went off of Ivy and then I was like, wait, no, I wrote down the other thought and I got back into Jaden Ivey. So we've got some people actually already talking about this stuff, which is kind of why he was top of mind. So I'm going to kick it off by asking you if you don't mind throwing out a player real quick that you were looking at and why, and then I'll start sharing my screen and get these bets up for people in the comments.
Sure, yeah. So I'm just curious, are we going game by game or just giving out bets or what?
Yeah, no, I was just gonna go. Really, what I was gonna mainly do is like get a couple of looks from you and myself, and then have people start to take these comments and put them up for people to for us to go through essentially and see if we like. But would like to at least like be at least. Maybe we'll give out 1 or 2 and then get into that. We can come back to some plays we like. I'm sure we'll run into it, but
that's cool. No, that's cool. Yeah. This would have been the 3rd time that I'd be going through the entire slate. So I would have been on autopilot at that point. So no, I'm good to just go official bangers.
What other show are you on besides Kyle?
I do at 10:30. I do one every day with Slop.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. We started that over the summer and now we're going through like that's in the morning. So it's a lot of like, what angles are you, it's not as much officially what you're playing. It's more so like what angles are you looking at for this game?
Yeah, that's dope.
But yeah, so Eugene, busy today. Yeah, it's good though. I mean, it's I'd rather be busy than not have anything to do. So we're all good. I'm not going to complain about talking too much sport. I will not be one of those people. Anyways.
Thank you.
So we'll just get started with the best game. Donovan Mitchell over 25.5 points. I saw a couple people on this. I forget who. I don't know about you, but I almost don't check any social media before I like look at, because I don't want to like be influenced by other people, or I don't want other people to think that I'm like stealing their stuff. Yeah. So I try to not look at anything, but after the fact, I saw a couple people on this. It's a play against the Lakers, the way they like want you to play offense against them. They force everything into the mid range, which Donovan Mitchell's happy to do. And Donovan Mitchell, like me and you talk about this all the time, but the haters are going to say that he's only gone over this in 1 of 4 games. But look at those games that he's played, man. Like 2 of them were decided by 15 plus points. The other one, 2 of them by 10 plus, and then another one by 15 plus. It's like they're not playing in any games that are close. And he's playing like 30 minutes a game against the Lakers at home. He historically plays better at home. The Cavs historically play better at home. Like I'd be shocked if he doesn't play 34, 36 minutes. In the Lakers, they allow the 4th most pull-up shot attempts in the NBA, and the 2nd highest frequency of shots against them are from the pull-up. And that's mostly from 2-point range as opposed to 3-point range. Yeah. They're allowing the 4th most pull-up 2-point field goal attempts specifically. And you look at Donovan Mitchell, he's only on the entire year, he scored the 13th most points per game via pull-ups, which that does not sound impressive. Every single player above him, all 12, have played at least 32 minutes. He's at 30. 9 of the 12 players above him are averaging 34 or more minutes per game. And you look at the guy, like the leaderboard, it's like Anthony Edwards is playing over 40 minutes a game. It's like, it's just a different stratosphere. So you figure He's going to play more in an important game. And then, I mean, look at props, man. It's like people are going to see the 1 of 4 and they're not going to want to bet it. And like, I know me and you are aligned on this, but that makes me think like perfect. Like you have to look in the context of those. They blew out the Wiz. They blew out the Raptors. The Knicks game was close and it was just, just not his game, but he hooked us, scored 25 points. You know what I mean? It's like, so yeah, this was, I wouldn't say, I don't know. I wouldn't say my favorite. I don't like assigning favorites because it's like I put one unit on all of them, man. Like it's getting the same amount of unit sizing for me. So yeah, this is definitely one of the ones that I officially bet that I gave out earlier on my YouTube channel.
Nice. All right. So where I'm at, I totally agree. I've been waffling and I didn't know where to go. And my first look was potentially Darius Garland under on the assists. I still think that's an okay look. I still think it's 6.5, but that was what started me down the hole of which Cleveland guard do I want to take? And I hate this game. I hate two players that if you go to all their play type stuff and everything, they do the same shit, right?
Same shot profile.
The same ways, same shot profile. They score off of the same play types. It's either PNR. I think there's a bit more free throws for Donovan because he's a little bit better once he gets into the lane going to the rim. Obviously a better athlete overall. But other than that, like what the hell is the difference? I don't know. It's kind of like it isn't kind of like it's 1A and 1B to the max because you've got 19 shots last game, for instance, and Donovan last game took 17. So they're both either taking anywhere from like 17 to 21 shots. And they're both in a great matchup against a Lakers team that D'Lo looks like he's playing. And that was part of what my bet was predicated on was I was going to go Darius Garland over points. And I still haven't done it. It's 18.5. I thought about just saying F it and kind of pulling a Modi and just being like 20 plus 120. I'll put whatever I want on it. I'm not dealing with this 18.5 to 20 point nonsense. I'll just take the plus money. Right. So yeah, I think that I'm still liking that. I still like under the assist for him, but the Lakers don't really, they give up a good amount of assists. They don't really defend that well. They're 20th right now in defensive rating overall. So I don't have much for there. And like I said, it's just a matter of is Darius Garland or Donovan Mitchell going to want to score off of the play that they have on their guy, or are they going to want to pass? Because Austin Reeves and D'Lo ain't guarding either of these dudes well at all. Yeah. So I like the Donovan play. I'm not necessarily going to be the guy taking the Darius just yet. If I decide to before we get off, maybe, but I got nothing else for that. So yeah, go ahead.
No, but I was just going to add, part of my logic was like looking at the stats. Darius Garland is taking more pull-up shots than Donovan Mitchell. Like to me, that's going to normalize over time. Like that's not going to stay. That's not going to hold over the course of the season. So you're getting some value on Donovan Mitchell because of that. And Garland is cooking. Mitchell's not. Just bet the opposite of that. It's my logic.
Right. I got you. Yeah, I'm with it. I like it. And I didn't know which one to go with. But I always love your confidence when you come in and just like this one. I like this one for this reason. And you had some good reasons too, by the way. We are being told to look at rebounds and assists by Free Sauce for Donovan Mitchell. Are you on the over here, Free Sauce? Let us know. I know you're bringing up that you said he cleared this line in 7 of 8. If you're talking about the Mitchell, oh yeah, you said over RA. I'm not. You mean like back to last season? Because this is at 8.5. And he's gone under most of the time this year. But let me know what you're thinking with that as I kind of keep it moving as well. I like some of these looks that are coming in. There's some really good stuff. I'm going to bring one up real quick because I at least want to get into one of them, and then we'll come back to some of the stuff we got. In fact, you know what? This is kind of cheating because I do like Jaden Ivey, and I talked about this. And I mentioned this in the VIP chat, though, where I was like I was looking at Darius Garland back and forth, like I said, and he got down, or I'm not. This is Jaden Ivey. I'm sorry. I was looking at Jaden Ivey. I also mentioned that I was looking at him earlier. And I was looking at him 16.5, 17.5, and he was waffling back and forth. It got bumped back up to 17.5 on DK, and I was about to take 16.5, but they clearly looked at the market and were like, what the hell are we doing? We're the only book here, beside whatever a Ladbrokes is, that has this at 16.5. So they bumped it up. 16.5 was a beautiful number, not because it gets over this number right here, but just the usage and everything for him is so different. And I'll actually use outlier.bet to show this real quick, since you can just kind of see it really easily at the bottom once you get him up. But basically his usage is similar, but his minutes are up by about 5 per game. His shots are up big time by about 4 per game this year. And there clearly has been a conversation between JB Biggerstaff and Ivy and whomever else that's like, yo, I think I'm actually going to use you this year. Unlike
I don't hate you.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Whatever the hell Monty Williams was doing to destroy your confidence last year, I'm going to go ahead and try to bring that back up because he's up to, so this year, I know it's 4 games, but we're at 33 minutes and 16 shot attempts, 5.5 free throws as well. So all of that is up from 2023, where he played 28.8 minutes. So that's about 4 minutes more. This is 4 shots more, 1 more 3, and then like 2 more free throws. So he's got a lot of more room for outs here rather than just needing to hit threes off of Cade's stuff. I still give it out at 17.5 at even money, which I believe is still available on FanDuel. So I'm just going to continue to ride this sort of momentum for him and assume that like if he's going to be averaging close to 20 a game this year, which is very possible alongside Cade, that he would be doing that. This prop is going to rise up to like 18, 19.5 per game before too long.
Yeah, that's solid. That's solid. I think like I bet him 20 plus in the first game of the year. And then I've just been mad at him because he cashed it in 2 straight. And I was on Cade in that game against the Celtics. I was like debating between Cade and Jaden Ivey, but I was like, Ivey's been playing well. Like, and Cade looks like he's just coming out ready to score. So but I think that's a solid look.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And Cade is the thing actually that scares me more than anything. 18 shots is his fewest, 22, 23, and 24 shots this year. So to your point, he's coming out firing. I think the look for Cade that was a request while we're on him real quick, and we can get to one more bet of ours, is assists was the look. 7.5 would be his assist, but that was one of the first comments that came in looking at Cade stuff. Any initial thoughts right there? I can read you off that it's 13 potentials, 9, 15, and 14. So probably looking at like 11-ish per game, maybe 12 per game for him. 12 to get 8, not a number that I super love for Cade.
Yeah.
You're a Philadelphia fan. What the hell do I do with this iteration of the 76ers team? I don't know how to cap them.
Yeah, I mean, like the thing is, like their defense is good, man. Like they have some solid defenders. Like Maxey is not great, but then and Drummond is just a 5. But like Caleb Martin can guard. Kelly Oubre is a good on ball, bad off ball, but he can guard on the ball. Eric Gordon can't move like laterally, but he's stout. Like you can't bully him. Sure. They like you. I always butcher his name. His name. He's been decent this year. So their defense isn't terrible. And there's something, I think there's some stat again that I ended up not touching this game. The Sixers one specifically. There's some stat that led me to Cade points. I think it was like the Sixers are not good at guarding the pick and roll. If I remember correctly, I'm going to pull it up real quick. I think
they're not good at it. No, by any means.
So they allow, let's see,
it looks like about the 11th most points to the PNR ball handler.
Wait, let me see. I'm going to NBA.com. I see I'm seeing the 5th most to pick and roll ball handler.
Okay.
I guess tied with the Knicks.
Okay. Yeah, there's probably some ties in there. I mean, this could be slightly skewed, but they're bad is a fair assumption.
Yeah. And I think Dame has a lot to do with that. Dame had a decent, but I swear there's another one, but whatever. It doesn't matter. It would be Cade points because I think he's coming out this year and like trying to prove that he is a scorer. But I can't argue with you against Ivy.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. The points and the assists for Cade are like, there's no real edge to saying getting 8 at even money on 13 potential assists per game.
Yeah.
That's butting up against it, right? Like I usually throw out 55% of your potential assists turning into assists is a solid number to bank on. And once you get above 60, you're kind of pushing it a bit. Unless you're a center who's just passing it 2 feet to the other big, and obviously then you're whatever.
Yeah, that's different. Yeah,
you get the point. So, all right, cool. Yeah, I think for Cade, like everything's getting really high for him. I liked him on rebounds the other day. It was at 4.5. He had a really good rebounding profile in Courtside Pal against Miami, so it was like that was helpful, and I saw some of that in there. He does have a ton of rebound chances, and this is still at 4.5. I guess this is what I was seeing. Now I'm seeing it again, and I'm liking it again. Like 4.5, and this dude has 14. There's one game that he had 5 against Cleveland, and then he had 14, 15, and 16. So he's averaging 15 rebound chances in 3 of these games. He still got 4 in the one where he only had 5 rebound chances. I think this is another play for me. I think this should be at like 5, 6.5, to be honest. So I guess he's only averaging 5.8 because he climbed over it, but this is going to be a lean once again, and I'm probably going to end up betting it because I felt so dumb not betting it last time. So I'm throwing that on the bottom line. I have some leans in there so that we can make sure everyone sees what we're talking about here, but I'm going Cade over 4.5 reps. I didn't take it last time for whatever dumb reason where I was like, there's a lot of stuff telling me to take it, and I just was
I did that. That was me with Kyrie Irving points yesterday. I was like, yeah, that looks really good. And then I just didn't, I don't know. Like I just didn't bet it. I couldn't tell you why.
I know. Sometimes you just, I know. It's a kid.
People are like, why don't you bet that? And I'm like, I wish I had a better reason for you. Like, I feel bad because like people we're putting ourselves out publicly. People expect us like not to be perfect, but to know what we're talking about. So like, so people are like, oh, any reason why you didn't bet that? Nope.
No,
that was helpful.
Sometimes it's just that I'm like, my brain is tired. I did a ton of research to get where I am right now, and I need to move on to other stuff. So
Yeah.
But yeah. All right. So let's can I get another one from you real quick?
Yeah, so I'm going to go with one that I know you disagree with because I watched your video this morning. It's Halliburton 20 plus points. I got it at plus 115. Last I checked, it was plus 110. It's a low number for someone that takes the most, runs the most pick and roll, scores the most points out of the pick and roll, drives the most, scores the most out of the drives. Like all the ways in which you want to score against the Celtics is how Tyrese Halliburton scores the most on the Pacers. Now, I'm not like, he's not Damian Lillard. You know, he's not going to go off, shoot logo threes or anything like that. We only need him to get to 20 points for a plus money price. And it's just how you play the Celtics. And like, and you mentioned this in your video, the minutes are key for him. Because if you look at the games that he didn't play well against the Celtics, like he didn't play a lot. He last year he played 4 games, including the playoffs, in which he played more than 25 minutes. He cashed it in 2 of 4. So it's like a 50% hit rate. But if you go back in the last couple of years, 7 of 10 games against the Celtics in which he scored, or excuse me, in which he's played 25 or more minutes. No Miles Turner kind of gets rid of a pick and pop for him. I admittedly, like, that was late. So I don't have the data in front of me on if no Miles Turner equals more points for Tyrese Halliburton. I would guess that would be the case, but I'm not going to say that because, again, I don't have that data in front of me. But Celtics allowing them second most points per possession to pick and roll ball handlers, the highest effective field goal percentage allowed to pick and roll ball handlers. I mean, that's Jordan Poole in the second game of the year. That's Deuce McBride and Jalen Brunson in the first game of the year. Like, they're guards that have had success against the Celtics. And I get it. Like, that's not Halliburton's nature, but they're 1-3. Like, he's kind of showed in the playoffs last year, like back against the wall, that they're going to he's going to shoot more. So the Celtics look at effective field goal percentage and points per possession.
Points per possession,
So like when teams are running it, they're having success. They haven't done it a ton, but some of that is like based on the team that they play. So
and this would have been higher against the Knicks with Jalen Brunson, but he left the game, and that was over in the second quarter. That game was so. Yeah,
and McBride went off in that game. He scored like 24 points in like 23 minutes. So it was like a guard played well, and then it was Dame last game. It was Jordan Poole the second game. It was Cade and Jaden Ivey in the other game. So honestly, I was looking at Benedict Mathurin when I gave this play out. They didn't have props on him this morning, and like that's part of it. Like
I noticed that.
Yeah, and I think they still don't. Yeah, they still don't have Benedict Mathurin props.
Yeah, that's so annoying. Honestly, like, the Benny Matt stuff is. Oh, it is. It's up right here. So it looks like we've got stuff now for him. But this is so this is sports bet.
I was gonna say, the one I was looking at didn't have anything.
Yeah. No, Pips has access to other books being not in America, so there's some weird ones that you get in here too, like Ladbrokes, which is funny. But no, I stayed away from Tyrese. What I was trying to say in my video too, that I probably wasn't as clear about because I didn't put a number on the screen, was it was at 18.5. If it got to 19.5, I was looking at an under. At the same time, like, you go 20 plus for some plus money, similar to the Darius Garland play that we were talking about a minute ago. Like, I totally get it. It makes perfect sense to at least go for the player type that beats the Celtics. And that was what I was looking at, because I went over in his game against the Magic for Tyrese. And to be honest, I felt like I got away with one because he was at 16 for the last 12 minutes, 14 minutes that he was out there. And then he hit a 3 in the last like minute of the game to make sure that they won and got the 19. So once I felt lucky in general, because I was watching it and I was like, the eye test here for Tyrese is that the dude doesn't look like himself. It seems like he's not as willing to get into the lane right now, which is always going to be a problem for him, because if they're not worried that you're going to be able to use your quickness to get around them and get in the lane, then you're not big enough to shoot over people. So, and he can't dribble with his left hand. I cannot believe that this like all-star point guard, it refuses to go left. I'm like watching a 9-year-old just refuse to go with his left hand. So it's just mind-boggling, but that's a part of it. If he can't use his quickness, then he scares me. But I'm definitely not going to trash the bet by any means. I stayed away and was just trying to like show some stuff. But against the Celtics, if he gets the minutes, to your point, then he's good to go. And it looks like he's at about 35 per game now. Played 35 in this last one. I don't think he's going to get much below 35 if it's not a blowout. So you can bank on that for sure. Let me talk about Zushak for a minute, because this dude's crazy right now, and it seems like fool's gold, but when I really look at it, like last year, I was looking for moments in time to bet on Zubac, just being like, if the volume is there for this dude, then I have to bet him. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills, and that I'm one of the only people in the world that realizes how good of a center Ivica Zubac is. And to be honest, Lakers fans probably agree with me more than anyone, because they wanted him on their team. And he's been crushing them ever since he left the squad. But here's what I'm looking at: 34, obviously 39, 38. So he's at 37 minutes a game. I'm going to bring him up on Outlier because this is once again a good way to at least be able to like show you the difference between this season and last season so far. And it's 4 games, but there's a couple things that make this not like false promises for Zoo and his success. Who else is going to play center for this team? Amir Coffey is your backup center. They don't have anybody to play other minutes. And Zubac has been relatively healthy in his career. He just never got the minutes on this team because he was just supposed to fill a role while Kawhi and PG and eventually James Harden were supposed to do other stuff. Obviously, Kawhi doesn't play basketball anymore, so that doesn't really matter. But the usage as well, and then he has good numbers against this team. So the usage rate this year, way up, obviously. He's at 16 shots per game. Last year, I don't know if that was it double? It was probably slightly over. No, it wasn't even double digits. Thank you. Yeah, it was 8 attempts last game, 26.8 minutes. So do I think 37 minutes a game for Zubac is what they want to do or super sustainable? No, but I don't know what else they're going to do. And if he plays 32 to 35, I mean, 35 would be, even if that's his ceiling tonight, I'm still completely okay with him against DeAndre Ayton. When you look at his stuff head to head last year, this is just head to head in general. So the last 2 games here, he played like barely played in those games. 24 and 18 minutes in those. In the games where he even played just 26 or 33, obviously goes way over on the points. Same concept for the rebounds. I ended up just going with the points and rebounds. Shout out one of the dudes in the Discord, Hannah, not Hannah, who was way on this. The rebounds were the thing that scared me a little bit more than the points, but I ended up taking both of them because of the minutes. But because dominating, if he can do anything, it's rebound. That's it. And it's definitely not like stop anybody on defense. He's not dominating on defense, that's for sure. So I feel fishy because it's 29.5. It's a very high number for a dude who all of our like history with him is that he doesn't do this very often. But against Ayton in a good spot with this defense, I'm gonna go ahead and take him.
Yeah, I like the points because I really wanted to take Harden to go over his point total because he just shot so poorly last game and he still scored 23 points that I really wanted to take his over. But they the Blazers defense just don't give up points where James Harden scores. They don't give up anything to the pick and roll ball handler. They don't give up any pull up 3-point attempts. And that's all Harden does. If he's not pulling up, he's going to the rim. He's not he's shot more mid range as he's gotten older. That really started when he was in the Sixers, but he still is takes 3 pull up 2-point attempts per game. That's not getting you anywhere.
Right.
The rebounds is what scares me off mostly because just look at his last 2 games, man. That is the outlier of all outliers. Zubac rebounds his last 2 games. It's in the 20s, right?
It's 15 and 18.
15 and 18. So not quite 20, but 15 and 18 is crazy. And because of dominating the Blazers don't give up. I mean, this is again 4 games. So all these numbers are within a grade. So they don't give up a ton of rebounds. They give up the 8th lowest rebounds per game to centers. My guess is that it's a shot profile where not a ton under the basket. Even the hook shots for Ayton are not in the restricted area. So I kind of liked as a complete and utter dart throw, James Harden triple double. It was plus 1,400. So let's be clear about what we're doing.
Yeah.
But his rebounds, it was in game 1 against a jump shot shooting team, 12 rebounds and 21 rebound chances. And then it's been low the next 2 games. Yeah.
9 and 12.
Yeah, but that's if you're trying to get 10 rebounds, you need that to be up.
Oh, sure.
You know,
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if I don't like Zubac rebounds, I don't like anybody else in the Clippers to do anything. So it's just give me a $5 dart throw on James Harden triple double because his assist prop is over unders at 10.5, and it's relatively even money for that over. So if you're calling 10 a safe floor. So you're really it's really just, I guess it went to 9.5 now, but it's heavily juiced.
That's only on some of the weirdo bets, but it's still heavily juiced to the heavily to the over. Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. DraftKings and FanDuel at 10.5, even money on DraftKings, a little bit it's 116 on FanDuel, but at 10.5. So again, it's a dart throw. If you're playing it,
sure.
Let's be clear about what we're talking about here. It's a triple double that's plus 1,400, but yeah, I think that's worthy.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think there's going to be some misses for Portland for sure. They're going to be jump shooting as well, to be honest. They really don't have many guys who crash the rim or can play with their back to the basket. That's for sure.
Exactly.
Another just one more little side shot at dominating. So yeah, I think James Harden is a fine play in this. I mean, honestly, James Harden is a part of my Zubac play and the points for Zubac being it's a center where James Harden is the focal point of the offense, and they're just running the same stuff that Houston ran with him. So,
Zubac isn't and Joel Embiid, but James Harden led the league in assists when he played with Embiid. Literally led the league in assists.
Yep, like that for sure. All right, I wanted to look. I have a couple other things here. Nick Richards rebounds I like, and I think Mike put that in here, and I trust the hell out of Mike for sure. I don't mind Nick Richards rebound at all. I think this is like between he and Pirtle, I think they're both going to do fine against each other.
Yeah.
Not really impressed with either of their defense, so I'm not going to take time because there's a couple other things I really want to look at before I would look at Nick Richards in that poo-poo Toronto game. Which, by the way, I do like RJ in that one. If you don't like RJ, I think the other guy is Grady Dick. But I don't know. I wanted to play Agbaji. It's tough to gauge what's going to happen with this random assortment of Raptors players, but I spent a lot of time looking at that game. I'll be honest, probably more than I should have. And Nick Richards is a play that I like, but I'm going to move us real quick because I just saw something come up about Chet, and then I want to talk about the Knicks for a little bit because I got Mikhail and Miles up there. But for Chet, did you look at this Spurs game at all real quick? I'm confident you did.
Yeah. So what I ended up playing in this one, it didn't make my YouTube channel. I gave it out elsewhere. I'm sorry. I took Champagne 10 plus points. I got a plus 115. I think it's now plus 110. As long as you can get that plus price next to it, I would play that. It's either that or you're taking over 8.5 for like minus 120 and no
right.
thanks. Oh yeah, no. So 365, still plus 115. There you go.
It is okay. Yeah,
that's insane. That's insane. That's crazy. That's all the Stephen A. Smith words. It's just an obscene price. Game number 1, 18 points. Game number 2, 12 points per game. 12 points. Last game, only 5 points, but on 2 of 7 shooting. And he shoots a lot from 3-point range. So like if you also want to get a 3-point prop for Champagne, I don't hate that either. If you get 3+, that's plus 220. That's also solid. The Thunder give up the fewest points per game to the pick and roll ball handler. By a long, long shot. That's how they play defense. They didn't really give up a ton last year. They crash in from the corners and they leave those dudes open on the corner. It's why they lost in the playoffs last year because they got cooked by PJ Washington and Derrick Jones Jr.
Yep.
But that's still how they play this year. And they give up the most shot attempts from spot up and the most corner 3 attempts as well. Champagne leads the Spurs in both of those categories. He is there with no Devin Vassell and Jones out. He's not their backup point guard, but he is in the starting lineup and he's just going to shoot. Like he's just a get buckets guy. And we only need him to get 10. Like it's a crazy price for him to get 10 plus points. And again, he cleared it the first 2 games of the year, shot 2 of 7 last game in a totally different matchup again, like 1 of 6 from 3. If you're telling me you're getting 7 field goal attempts in 6 3-point attempts, I'll take my chances that he gets 10 points.
Yep. Totally. Adding to your point here for the moment in time to take Champagne, it's that he was out there. Malachi Branham came out. They played the hot hand. He just wasn't missing, right? He came out and hit a couple big threes in the third quarter. That cut into his minutes a little bit, and he still got to 28. So I really like that. I like this 28% of his shots are coming from the corner. Absolutely love that. I believe you mentioned that as well, right? Because that's where you want to score against OKC. It's also why I'm still, let me see where it's at, but I like the Champagne play. I'm sure a lot of people are going to like that because he's still got these low numbers. Chris Paul to point guard, I've been fading. It worked in this game, even though he almost tried to dick me because he had a 4-point play in the fourth quarter. So he ended with 20 PRA, and I took him under 21.5. So we were fine.
It's scary though.
It was terrifying. And part of the thought process was like they, the way that Houston plays defense is pretty high ball pressure, but a lot of fouling on the guards. And I didn't think they would have to foul him. Whatever. He got open for 3. He's crafty. But I like that we know that he's playing 29 to 28 minutes, and that's it, right? 29, 29, and 27 minutes this season. And like they could have brought him in. Like if you're watching the games, and you can even use popcornmachine.net, which we've talked about on here, where you can see the flow of substitutions. Like he could have come in a close game as they're coming back multiple times. They didn't put him back in until 4 minutes left in the game because they were like, this is the minutes limit that we have on 89-year-old Chris Paul, right? So that's going to continue to be the case, even with Trey Jones out. And if Trey Jones is in, there's no reason to believe it wouldn't go down before it went up for his minutes. So I still think the under on the PR, it was at 12.5. It got bet down. It's at 11.5, and the under is still looking like it might drop even more if it before game time potentially. But I think under 12.5 was such a beautiful number. I still think under 11.5 is a great number for him. He's not getting rebounds. He had 5 rebound chances in this game and zero. I don't know how many rebound chances he had, but he had 0 boards against Houston game 1. This game he had 12 rebound chances against
That's
Dallas.
An outlier. Yeah.
I mean, talk about an outlier. Yeah. So 3.5 boards by itself is fine, but I think the points are okay too. took 6 shots, 3 shots. And then in this one, they were trying to make a comeback and they stopped guarding him in the fourth quarter for some reason. And so then, he just went off and that was it. But I still feel like that was more of an outlier as well. So I'm still waffling a bit on the under, but wanted to bring that up. Did you have anything for Wemby or Chet? People were asking about those two. They're always going to ask about those two.
Yeah.
No pressure if you're like, look, they're just high and I don't know what to do with it. And they're just going to beat the shit out of each other, probably, I would imagine.
Yeah, that they're going to do. Yeah, I was looking at Wemby rebounds, but it's the same thing like betting after an outlier. But the Thunder were like a good spot for rebounds last year, just because without Hartenstein, I'm guessing it's going to be the same thing this year.
Yeah. He's just gone crazy. The only thing is Chet going crazy on the boards makes me go, is he going to be good at different here? Yeah, I don't know.
Is it going to be different? Yeah. But just look at Wemby, his last game. Like and it's another thing that was like, it just is what it is. But I bet, so in the same matchup, I bet his rebounds. So go to rebounds. You're on points. Go to rebounds.
20.
The game he had 7 against the Rockets, I bet his over rebounds. And then I didn't take it the next game. He has 20. So it's like one of those things where it is what it is. But whenever I look at rebound props, I just look at shot profile and I look at where teams are shooting from. And the Thunder, I didn't end up betting it, so I don't remember the stats off the top of my head, but I think they take a decent amount of shots close to the rim. Yeah. Because SGA is phenomenal, but he's not shooting from deep.
He has a little bit more, but still not much, to your point. Yeah.
Yeah, still not. Yeah, more than before. Yeah, and that's where I want to take center rebound props against teams that shoot from close to the paint. So like this Thunder, Thunder taking the third most shots within 5 feet from the basket. Yeah. That leads me to center rebound props because it's like, I mean, we talked about this before, but like the further the shot is left, like the further the shot is from the basket, the further it's going to bounce off the rim. That's why you take like against the Suns. That's why Harden had 12 rebounds on 20 chances because it's a jump shooting team. Yep. Celtics, it's the same thing. You take guard rebound props against the Celtics. Yep. I didn't end up betting it, but that's also why for Zubac, that's why that's why like if the PR, that's also like against the Blazers for whatever reason, they don't give up a ton. Like that's where I got conflicting info because they don't give up a lot of rebounds to centers, but they take a lot of shots in their restricted area. So, I mean, it's just, is it like a small sample size thing? But yeah, anyways, that's what led me to the Thunder.
Yeah,
to be against the
there's still a lot of conflicting info that's making you go back and forth being like, I don't know, because all this tells me to do one thing. All this tells me to do another. That's where I've been at as well. And sometimes live there in the NFL more than the NBA, to be honest. But all right, cool. Then, I was looking at a couple others. I think we're good on that game. I'm not going to bet anything on that game for these two guys. I'm almost certain. I do think there's a bit of an uptick this year for Chet that'll just be there. The minutes won't be capped at 28 sometimes here and there. He's going to play 30 to 35 minutes very, very consistently. I think there was somebody out for let me look at injuries real quick. I think there was somebody out. No, it's just Hartenstein that's out, and Kenrich Williams and Jalen Williams. So that's a big part of the Chet rebounds as well. If you do like that, and then Daft was bringing up assists. That's one other thing I wanted to look at real quick. I've been considering that. Really thought about it against the Hawks and didn't do it. And then he went 4 on 4 potentials.
4 on 4.
It's the potentials that are kind of scaring me. He did have 8 against the Nuggets. I totally see him as a playmaker. That he's an incredible passer from where he's at on the floor. Yeah. I don't know what else to go with other than that right now for him. Daft, if you're in there, if you want to throw that in the comments too, I'd love to know. Other than besides I said so, I'd love to know what you're talking about. But either way, all right, let me throw one more look that I had because I want to at least get into that, and then I'm gonna look at a couple more. Actually, you know what? I already told you guys RJ Barrett. Let me get into this Knicks game real quick. And full disclosure, I absolutely loathe betting on anything that has the Miami Heat present. I hate it. I don't ever know what I'm going to get from them. Effort wise, is Jimmy going to pass? Is Jimmy going to score? But I do think Mikal Bridges is at least someone interesting to talk about. So I'm just going to look at him real quick because people were bringing up his points, and I'm sure part of it is the hit rate. And then the other thing would be is like the opponent defense. What's the Miami Heat deal with defending spot ups and such, right?
They allow them. I don't look at spot ups. They allow the most corner 3-point attempts so far, and that's a game against the Magic lit them up from the corner, and the Magic never shoot. So I guess it's the right corner, but yeah, they gave up the most. If you just look at corner 3-point attempts total, they gave up the most. Yeah,
I totally believe that. I can do opponent shooting. This is always going to be the best. Is just being on NBA stats at the end of the day, to be honest with you. So if you go to corner threes, I really don't care about left and right corner that much. I think there's too much emphasis on that.
I don't care about left and right.
So this is giving up the overall the most corner attempts. This is
just go to
about the Heat right here.
Go to corner 3.
corner
So you're on
3,
left corner.
my bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Heater number 1.
Yeah. Got you. And then Thunder's still right there with him. So yeah, it is about the high ball pressure, right? Like everybody, those two teams have guards that are just going to pressure above the break as much as possible and not give anything up from there. And then you're going to have to go down into the corners. So Mikal did you have Mikal as a play?
So I didn't bet it. I was looking at Karl Anthony Towns literally just because of like, there's no way he's going to only keep shooting two a game. Like I refuse to believe that's going to be the case. You don't trade for Karl Anthony Towns and then have him take 0% of his shot attempts from the corner. You have him take a total of 6 3-point attempts through 3 games. I didn't bet it because like it's pure conjecture that I'm like, they have to figure that out. But yeah, that's where I went.
I hate this. I'm just now stuck in Minnesota Timberwolves fandom, like just this endless circle of sometimes he's going to be every 5 games he does shit that makes you go like, yes, cat, and then all the 4 games in between you're like 18-7. Why the hell are we paying you this, right?
Yeah,
and that's cat to a T. I hate it. It's annoying. Whatever. I'm not going to get into that too much, but he's taken as many shots as Tyrese Maxey had in 1 game this season. He's taken 28 field goal attempts.
Yeah,
Maxey had a game with 30.
And they need him to stretch the floor. It's like they got you because you can create space for Jalen Brunson. And so yeah, I didn't bet it, but yeah.
Yeah, the Mikal stuff intrigues me, except for 60% from the field, 67% from the field, 54% from the field. That is not sustainable for Mikal.
He's got a broken jump shot.
It's maybe it's not. I don't know.
I know. No, it's been fine in the regular season, but
right. It's been really good right now so far, even though the hitch is nasty.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I don't know. It's like Tatum. Maybe the hitch comes in the playoffs a lot more pronounced, and then you suck. But I would be going over on Mikal stuff before under, but I think like 15.5 is going to be a very consistently solid line for him. 18.7 points per game on 60% shooting on the season is not sustainable for someone shooting from as far away as he is as consistently. I agree that this is good down in the corners, but that he's shooting down in the corners there. It's not necessarily enough for me to take 15.5 points for the dude, but I see what everybody else is seeing there. So we've done an about face. The other look that I had in here was potentially Bam points, but I've got Miles McBride up because I wanted to mention does not have points up. Awesome. I think Josh Hart probably just got ruled in, perhaps. I'm not looking at that right now.
Still game time decision. I've been checking Underdog NBA. It's still a game time decision.
Yeah. Yeah. Real quick, I was going to answer this question. Thanks for the content. Do you have a site you use to who subs for who? Yeah. It's the popcornmachine.net game flow feature, because you have to do a little bit of manual labor to see it, but just pulling it up real quick. You can easily tell right where people are coming in and out of the game. I think I have a random game from last year. Yeah, I think it's Heat Boston in the playoffs. So like if this dude starts right here, all I have to do is find out who subbed in at that time, and it was Jaime, right? So he came out right here, or Delon came in for Jaime right here, because they're lay line up. So this is in the description of the video if you want the link to Popcorn Machine. Super helpful tool. Let me bring up one more thing. Yeah, so if Miles McBride comes in, I'm still going to take him at over 9.5 points for the rest of my life. Like you can have my Miles
crazy.
McBride.
Yeah, that's crazy.
When you pry them from my cold dead fingers is when I'll stop betting on it. So yeah, I think Miles is going to be a great call. Flo Farrell likes Miles. We don't have anything up for him. It came up like at 9.5 for even money, like 15 minutes before the game time last time. If you are in the VIP Discord, keep an eye on that, because I gave it out last time, and I will give it out like that if I see it 9.5 without looking at anything else. So like that, there's a bunch more in here. Can I ask you for one more play maybe it'll take us to a game we haven't been to yet?
Yeah. So game we haven't talked about yet. Yeah, here we go. Best game of the night, Hawks Wizards.
Hell yeah.
Give me Jordan Poole 25 plus points. He might get that on 37 shot attempts, but I don't care as long as he gets there. No Kyle Kuzma, who played 40 minutes, and it's the last time these two teams played. Yeah. This does go up against my like betting ethos, where he just cashed this last time these two teams played. Mm-hmm. And it was on 6 of 8 shooting from 3-point range. But this is a volume thing. He might go 4 of 15 from 3-point range. But the Hawks give up the most points to pick and roll ball handlers by far. Yeah. And Poole's been good, man. Like I get it. He's Shaqtin' a fool. We love making fun of Jordan Poole, but he's been good. And when he's on a heater, it means he's not Shaqtin' a fool yet. The only game he missed it was against the Cavs, and like they have a good defense. I mean, their defense is good from the perimeter, from the interior, but whatever.
But they can press up on shooters because they know they have the guys behind them. Yeah.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, I don't know any data on the Cavs defense. I was just kind of thoughts.
It's true. Off top, you're right. And like, because you think of Donovan and Garland up top, and you're like, ugh. But at the end of the day, yeah, they can press up on dudes and just play lazy, almost lazy, like pressure defense because
like
they know the guys behind them.
What the Jazz used to do when they had Rudy Gobert, it's like
Yes.
they would just like let him okay.
Precisely.
But yeah, so then my last point here is like, even so, Kuzma, this is the first game Kuzma's missing. Every game they played together, Jordan Poole takes the most or scores the most points off of pick and roll ball handlers. Kuzma second. Now Kuzma's out. Just played 40 minutes against these guys last time. This game's poo-poo platter, but two bad defenses, two fast-paced teams. And like, what do you want to do when you play the Hawks? Just put Trae Young in a pick and roll. So that's why I went in this one. Like 25 plus. The odds have been kind of crazy. Like I locked 25 plus in at minus 105, and that was a good price compared to the rest of the market. An hour later, that went up to plus 115. I'm trying to pull it up now to see. Where is this game? Wizards Hawks. And then, like I said, like an hour later, it went up to plus 115. And then last I checked, it was down to minus 108. So like, I don't know what's going on with this price.
Let me pull it up on Outlier real quick because they show you the alt lines. Really,
you can get alts. All right. Let's see who wins. Over 24.5 right now, plus 105 at DraftKings is the best price. So still worse than what I got.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I still like
gone
it.
Up, right? Yeah. No, I guess it opened at 23.5, so it's been sticking around this number. But yeah, I guess the alts are moving around weirdly.
It's the alts, yeah.
Yeah, I got you. Because I'm showing for 25, plus 105, like you said. So we're in the same boat there. I mean, honestly, like I was gonna look at one thing real quick. I think I like to look at this for guys like Poole when I'm talking about the threes. So I like to look at how many threes does he score? What happens when he scores this many threes, that kind of shit, right? Because then it could help me with the points sometimes. So for instance, for Jordan Poole, like if he's going to get the points, do we think he's going to hit the three? So I put it on points, and I'm going to go back to last season just because that's all I have. I think this is probably a different Jordan Poole than last season. The further he removes from getting punched in the face by Draymond Green, the better for his career. Yeah. And the more, and I mean, I'm still talking about it, but most people have forgotten it, hopefully, or at least don't talk about it. So when he has, I'm going to go to the 3PA advanced filter. So I'm going to go to advanced filters, and I want to see when he makes 3-pointers. So this is 3P made. If he hits, if he's getting 24 points, essentially, if he goes over, what happens when he hits, I don't know, let's do 3 to 4 threes, because that's where this number is at for his 3-point prop. So not necessarily correlation. Like, he's still gone under plenty when he hits these amount of threes. My reason was thinking about how much I like the threes, and like how often he hits the three ball when he gets this many points. I think the plus money is the thing intriguing me. So if he's at 11 3-point attempts on the season this year, which I believe is close to what he's
shooting a lot. Yeah.
11, 7, and 8. So 15, 26. He's at about like 9 3-point attempts per game.
A little under 9. Yeah.
Yeah. So 9 3-point attempts per game to get 4. I'm out. My bad. Never mind. I'm totally fucking out. What are we talking about? I mean, if it was an 11 attempts a game, I'd be like, yeah, I'll take him to get 4 out of 11 for plus 120. Nah, not doing it when the average is still 9, and he had to hit 6. He went 4 of 7, 6 of 8, right? 6 of 11 occasionally, but no, I'm not. I'm still out on 55% from deep. There was a big discussion in my Discord about Trae Young and his PRA being ridiculous. I think it was 43.5. At first, I scoffed at the notion that you would take under on Trae Young against the Washington Wizards, but
hey man,
4 PRA.
Bilal Coulibaly. He is the point guard equivalent of the Dorcher chamber.
Yeah. Wait, hold on. He's the Dorcher chamber. You're saying
he's the I like the Coulibaly. The Bilal. I don't know. I don't know what the wordplay is there.
There's something in there.
This guy's a stud. He is and they love him. They're like his offense is a work in progress. His defense was good last year. Now he's playing more minutes.
Yeah, for sure. So you like the points? 14. I can't believe this just jumped up to 14.5. To open the season, it was like 9.5. He had one good game, and this bitch jumped up to 14.5. The Hawks switched their scheme in the second half to slow down Poole. Bilal took 10 out of his 12 shots in the second half. So you're saying he should be going over because once they switch the scheme to stop Jay Poole, then Coulibaly might be a better look here. Something to keep in mind that I can't believe this is how long it's taking me to say it, especially in favor of the Jordan Poole bet. You've got Dyson Daniels out.
He's out. Yeah.
Dyson Daniels is a very, very good defender. Actually, I came over here to look at injuries real quick, see if there's an update. This is pulls through from RotoWire.
Well, Hunter's also, I guess.
And then now DeAndre Hunter's out. So with DeAndre Hunter out, now I'm actually down to bet on Jalen Johnson. Because at first I was like, this is absurd that Jalen Johnson was at like 33.5 PRA. Now it's 34.5 because DeAndre Hunter is officially ruled out.
Yeah.
That's crazy high, dude. I don't know if I can get next to that. I know that at times it's been at this, but I feel like he's become a household name in a way that like he's getting the, overs, the inflated lines because of public perception of this guy is kind of crazy to think about. Kyle,
yeah.
Kyle gave it out last night. What's funny is that I'm sure within the last hour of your life, you gave this out on Kyle's show. And now all of a sudden, Kyle's coming in, trying to be the player props guy. It's like, yo, stick to sides and totals, brother. We got this.
Stick to going 0-3 and using all your leads.
Damn. All right. Yes, we can. Can we get a Garrison Matthews shout out? Absolutely. What do you want to shout him out for?
He looks like, if you could rank like the top 5 NBA players that look like they belong in a YMCA, Caruso's number 1. Garrison Matthews is probably number 2.
He's close, dude. Garrison Matthews. I love when like a pale ginger dude has hops too, and he can jump. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
I wonder why I like it when a pale ginger dude can jump. I can't. All right, let's see real quick. I was gonna look at a couple more. I know that you've been doing shows all day too. Do you want to let you give like 1 or 2 more and dip out if you got to go?
Yeah, one extra play that didn't make my YouTube channel that I ended up sending out later. And I'm curious your thoughts on it, because like it's one of those teams I don't know quite what to do with, but I took Kobe White over 4.5 assists. Plus 100 at FanDuel. I think it's still there. So I knew against the Magic I wanted to target somebody's assist prop, whether it was Giddey, whether it was Ayo Dosunmu, or whether it was Kobe White. What ended up leading me to Kobe White is a couple things. Number one is he has a horrible potential assist to assist ratio. He's averaging 10.8 potential assists per game.
Yep.
Only averaging 4.8 actual assists. And everybody in the NBA between 10 and 11 potential assists per game is averaging more actual assists than Kobe White. That includes his teammate, Josh Giddey, who's averaging fewer potential assists, 10.3. So not that much fewer, still a lower number, but averaging 6 actual assists. So over an assist more than Kobe White. That also includes his teammate, Ayo Dosunmu, who averages 7.3 potential assists. So like almost 3 fewer per game, 4.5 actual assists. So if we're just looking at that in that alone, somebody's due for positive regression, and it's Kobe White. I also like the fact Kobe White plays the most. Oh, there you go. See, like you pulled it up. I didn't even need to talk. But
no, I'm glad you did. I just wanted to show people like what we're looking at when you're talking about it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then so go back and just don't look at the Bulls. Just look at like in general, because I want to show you what I'm talking about. Like, and just go to anybody that's 10 potential assists and up.
Okay.
Nobody else is averaging fewer than 5 assists per game.
Right. So no one is averaging fewer than 5.
Except for Maxey. He's the only one. Yeah. Everybody else 5.3 and up. And then there's Kobe White at 4.8.
Love that.
And then it's also, he plays the most minutes. He drives the most. And this is shocking to me. He averages a higher assist rate and pass rate on drives than Josh Giddey. He passes 61% on his drives. Giddey's at 42.9%. And the Magic have been getting smoked by point guard assists so far this year. They're allowing the most assists to point guards in the NBA at 11.2. That's per #basketball, that website. And nobody else on the team is above, nobody else in the NBA is above 9.
That's fire.
Is above 10, is above 10. And they're at 11.2.
That's fire. God, I'm such a fucking dork that I'm just like, oh my God, this is so cool. You're so awesome. Like, Jesus Christ. I just want to kick my own ass right now. But that's fire. Like, just so everyone knows what we're looking at real quick. I went to NBA stats page, players instead of teams, and then went to tracking data. And this is where you're going to get everything for like volume numbers, because there's literally computers underneath the floor and millions of cameras in the arena that are just there to track everybody's movements and what they're doing. So when you look, I love the drives. Because when you look at drives, you can see pass percentage, how many assists, the percentage of these passes that turn into assists when they're driving. Like, this is really solid data because of the fact that it's a one-on-one league for the most part, outside of like a few teams like the Warriors right now. It's mostly going to be some version of a one-on-one team and just getting guys into the right spots to get their shots off in a one-on-one situation. But so when you're driving, this is going to be a majority of the time for a lot of people and how they score. If it's not a 3, it's a drive to the basket. And this is really helpful. So you can change tracking data to drives. We use passing for the potential assists. You can do touches, which is really helpful. And then rebounding for rebound chances, all that kind of stuff. So I would definitely recommend checking that out. Did you have one more before I let you run?
Yeah, one more that I gave out on my YouTube channel. It's Jaylen Brown first quarter points. I mean, what are we doing here? It's his number's 4.5. It's 4.5 first quarter points.
Oh, it got down to 4.5.
Yeah, it's
wonderful.
In the overs plus money. I got it at plus 106. It's currently plus 105. So you're getting basically the same exact price that I got.
Wow.
The only argument against it that I will accept, and that is a valid argument, is that his first quarter minutes are not what they were last year. So if you just look at this year, he hasn't played more than 9 minutes, or hasn't gotten to the 9-minute mark once. And then twice he's playing like half the quarter. Yeah. And that's so, and the Celtics fan told me that's inverse of Jason Tatum, who is now playing the whole first quarter. Mm-hmm. But even with that limited minutes in the first quarter, he 3 of 4 games, he's taken 5 field goal attempts. 3 of 4, he's taken 2 3-pointers. It's a beautiful matchup against the Pacers, whose defense has been better than last year, but they're still not they're not good. They still give up the second most points via isolation.
Yep.
And Tatum's first quarter point prop is 9.5. So give me someone that's going to play. Give me the number that's half that, right?
Yeah.
And Jason Tatum's been cooking this year. I get it. He's second in the league in ISO points, first on the Celtics. I get it. It's just a play on the number, man. Like 4.5 is too much. He cashed it every single regular season game against the Pacers last year. 80% of regular season games last year. And when Jaylen Brown, he's been really good this year. He is averaging the 5th most points per possession when running, when in isolation. I'm not sure the wording there, when isolating, the 5th most points per possession.
That's right. Yeah, when isolating, I love that.
Yeah, he's just not doing it as much because Tatum's been so good.
Right.
And then look at points per possession. And Jaylen Brown, I think it's the PPP, 5th most. Or I guess
top 7, whatever. Yeah.
So I wonder if maybe the data when I looked at this, sometimes the NBA doesn't always update it in the morning, and that's what pisses me off because then I give out incorrect information. Yeah. Okay. So it's 7th most now.
Who's if somebody actuallys you with, it's 7th, not 5th, they can absolutely fuck off. So
I agree. It's just, I just hate giving out information that's wrong. Because if somebody catches that, they're like, well, why should I ever trust you again?
Why would I ever listen to what you're saying? You didn't fact check what you said. Yeah,
exactly. Sure. Or people could just you're making up shit. You're just saying that you're making shit up. Anyways. But 7th most is still fine. 7th most is still fine.
Very impressive. And it's also 4.8 points per game in the first quarter. So this is still right at the number. I think, can you get a better line? It's at minus 104 now, it looks like. So any plus money is gone.
Plus 105 at bet 365.
You still got it. Yeah, outlier. Okay, it doesn't even have bet 365 on here right now. So yeah, it's on a different book, but 10 cents is a big deal. If you get this plus 105, that's fire. Yeah, I like that. The only thing that I can even think of, and this is total conjecture, that would eat into this, that's a legitimate reason for why his minutes are down, is that Peyton P is coming in at that moment in time. They are very consistently right now.
Crazy.
Bringing him in at the 6-minute mark alongside either Hauser or Cornette at that point, right? For Big Al and for Jaylen. Jaylen's the one coming out, whereas I feel like last year was either Drew or Derek White, and Jaylen would still get 10 minutes.
Yeah, it was Derek White last year. So that is so. I would be curious because I didn't honestly that's the helpful of a Celtics fan told me that they switched their rotations. I'd be curious to see how often Jaylen. Can you look at that? How often he did it when playing between 6 and 8 minutes?
Yeah, in the first quarter. Yeah, I first also just have to shout out that this is a wonderful line, Nipsey's last time that I checked, because that is what we're talking about. Fire song, wonderful job. At the time of this writing, at the time of this recording, that's a fair point. That's exactly right. Last time that I checked is perfect. I'm gonna use that every time. Man, definitely says that in his videos all the time. So I'm looking at him. Say that again. Sorry. Is it without someone? Last year, but playing between 6 and 8 minutes in the first quarter. So this is not giving me that. I can do it on P.C because I have the first quarter bet selected, so it should automatically be doing that, and I can't pick a specific quarter. All right, I got props.cash. Okay, cool. See. Bring it up, and I'll see if I can get to it as fast as you do. All right, so we're looking between 6 and last year, including last year, between 6 and 8 minutes, he cashed exactly half. So, or no, wait, sorry, over 4.5, 8 of 10 games in which he played between 4 and 6, or between 6 and 8 minutes. Okay. So there you go, 8 of 10 games. Yep. And he's at 6.5. Is that what we just said? Where did outlier not? 4.5. Yeah. 4.5. I don't even know what I'm showing anymore. It's crazy. All right, good. then I trust you. I mean, I fully trust you on all of it. So like, it's all good. I like the Jaylen Brown bet. It was something I went to consistently, obviously last year when I loved that he was still getting 10 minutes, but that was at 5.5. One fewer point means he's going to take a 3 or 2, needs to hit one, hit another one. But if he takes the 5 to 6 shots either way, doesn't matter what form of 2 or 3 hits. I still like that play. So, all right, man, I appreciate it. I'm not going to make you sit here while I go through some other people's stuff, because I know you got your plays in. We've been here for an hour, and you've got other things to do with your life than be on shows for an hour. I imagine.
No, I'm good. Like I said, I'm good, man. I'm talking sports for a living.
Dope.
I'll take that over the alternative. But no, I appreciate you having me on. Let's all win our bets tonight.
Cash. I obviously go ahead and plug your stuff, and also mention that I'll be on your show on Sunday morning if you would.
Yeah, for those of you that don't follow me on Twitter at Jedi Modi, post my YouTube videos, post the articles I do for Newsweek, and every Sunday Josh is on my YouTube channel. Although this Sunday we're good. Next Sunday I'll be out in Josh's state in California for a wedding. So I will
in-person live show at your buddy's house.
Yeah, there we go.
Hell yeah.
But cool. No, appreciate having me on. Follow me at Jedi Modi. That's where you can find me. And then I will catch all you guys on Sunday.
Perfect. Appreciate it, man. We'll talk soon.
Yep. Peace.
All right, dude. I'm going to get to a couple of these with y'all because I know there was a ton of comments, and I appreciate everybody that's in here. I want to see where y'all are at with a couple things. Let me find a couple that I want to look at. Maxi steals blocks. Maybe. I would have to know what you're looking at to get that. I don't play steals and blocks very much. Maxi under 5.5 from Jacob. I think you're talking about assists, right? Under 5.5 assists. I can at least put that up. I think we got to talk about Dick for a minute. Excuse me. Yeah, we need to talk about Grady Dick for a minute. He is going to be playing without a bunch of guys, so we should at least look at him for a sec. And then let's see real quick if there's anything else. Let me finish it up with those two. I like Bilal. We talked about Koulibaly. Everybody loves that. And this is true too. We're not talking about Jordan Poole helping the team win, Jay. We're talking about if he can, score. But you're totally right. Like, if I'm rooting for the Wizards, I really don't want Jordan Poole taking 26 shots a game. I'll agree with that. Let's see. Trae Young for points. Yeah, I mean, I think the points are a better play than PRA. They're at 27.5. He had a pretty bad game last game for all his stuff. But let's see. My bad. Quincy Jones was asking about Poole as well, and I never got to your shit. If you're still in here, bro, I can let you know about that one as well. Let me just get to like two then. So we looked at Poole. The assists I do like for him. He's been having a high amount of assists. The rebounds I can't speak to really, but the assists for Jordan Poole, if you like those, he's been getting hella potentials, and that's always a good thing. We were talking about that with Modi a second ago, right? Where if I pull up this Washington game, just looking at Jordan Poole for a minute, you can see his assists. He's at 4, but he had 16 potentials, 14 potentials, 12 potentials. So he's getting the potential assists. They're just not turning into dimes. And this Hawks defense is terrible. 6.5 is a high number. For -120, -130, I wouldn't be playing this. The rebounds are at 3.5. I wouldn't be playing this. Nah. I'm definitely out on that. He's not even come close to that this season. So I like the assists, but the rebounds, they don't do much for me. 6 rebound chances, 3 rebound chances, 3 rebound chances. He's not trying to board. So I'm off the anything to do with a Pool rebounds and or assists. And this one, those numbers are way too high. Let's see real quick. I need to write these down or I'm never going to remember. That's my bad. Because I had one that I wanted to look at. Yeah, Maxi, I don't have anything for the assists or the steals. Zach LaVine seems to be popular. Let me bring that up. I know Flo Farrell's talking about it. I think Free Sauce was talking about it. Let's put up Zach LaVine real quick. Let's go to that Chicago Orlando game. So Zachary and all his volume, right? What's he at? 17, 15. So 16 shots a game, probably at about 16, 17 shots a game, right? Let me bring back up outlier.bet, excuse me. Man, I guess I got away from it. All right, bringing up outlier because I want to see how that compares to some stuff when I'm looking at Zach LaVine. Damn, my brain is starting to malfunction. Let me get to this. I might have to call it for this. I got to get there's a couple plays I might need to get in before the first set of games. Zach LaVine What you been on, Zach? 2024, if we're looking, I wish they would give us the usage in here as well. I got to give that to those dudes and be like, yo, can you put usage in here? I'm on assists right now. I don't have any desire to talk about Zach LaVine assists, although this is apparently expected value. If you go over this number, he's going to hit at this price. You're going to hit this. You're going to make money is what this is telling me. But looking at the points, 21.5. Is that the only, is there 20.5? Didn't somebody bring that up? That might be available. FanDuel's got that at minus 118. Looks like DraftKings has it at 20.5 as well if you want that number. For him to get 20.5 points. So this season, to the point that Freesauce was making, the usage alone for a homie, he's got 17 shots, right? He's taken 17, 15, 13, 22. So he took the 13 against the Thunder. He made 6 shots. He made 3 threes from the corner in that game, I'm pretty sure. He made 4 threes. 3 of them were from in the corner. Everything else he sucked, but that was a much better defense. Well, it was a better defense than Orlando. I don't know about much better. As a shooting guard against Orlando, this is not a play for me. This is something I usually fade against Orlando, which is shooting guards who are spot-up shooters. I'll show you what I mean right here real quick. If you look at him, he's spotting up. It looks like Orlando's bad against a spot-up so far this season. Last year, they were not bad against a spot-up. So if you pull up 23-24, spot up shooters, they were the second best defense in terms of limiting points to spot up shooters. Last year, Zach LaVine was a lot more of a PNR ball handler. This year, it looks like he's actually doing a lot more work as in off the ball, right? Spotting up and transition. So Kobe White is actually a better look, I think, for the points, to be honest with you. Just off that matchup fact, that is a better play for him. Looks like he's spotting up too. So nobody, is it Giddey that's running the pick and roll? Who is running the pick and roll for this team? Let me go to play type real quick and go to pick and roll ball handler and then just put up the Chicago Los Bulls real quick. Nobody. So Kobe and Zach LaVine are the only ones running this play about 7.5 times a game. So they're not running pick and roll ball handler very much this season. That's pretty impressive. Let me just make sure I'm not lying to you. As a team play type, pick and roll, let me go to team play type, pick and roll ball handler. Possessions per game that they're actually doing it. Let me go to the bottom of the league. Yeah, so they're in the bottom 6, 7 in terms of how often they are running this play, right? Their frequency's down there as well, like 5th fewest. So they're not running the pick and roll, which is interesting because that's a little bit easier to figure out with this squad. So which play are they running? Sorry. Like, well, then what are you doing? Everybody in this league just runs that. Is it really just isolation ball for this squad then? Possessions per game. Not really. I guess they're running some motion offense. Do people do that in the NBA? Do people run motion offense? What? How often are they spotting up? Yeah, so they're running motion offense and just pulling. They've got the most amount of spot up shots in the league. And it looks like that's a lot of Zach LaVine. And I mean, this year, this team has been bad against the spot up, which is weird to me because this is something they do so well, is just lock onto their whoever they're guarding and just stay there. So I don't really know what to do with this. This is something that whenever I'm looking at it, I'm just like, I know what to do because teams mostly run pick and roll. They're just running motion offense and trying to get spot up shooters open with guys like Giddey. They're probably driving a lot as well, I would imagine. Play type, go to drive. Right? Isn't this play type or is it tracking? My bad. Tracking data is drives. And drives per game. Yeah, they're still in the top 10 in terms of drives per game. So that's what they're doing. They're driving, kicking, and running motion offense. But all right, I got to roll. We've been here for about an hour. I'm going to have the plays that we talked about here pinned in the comments on the YouTube video. That's going to be up. Appreciate a like if y'all haven't given the video a like yet. If you got anything out of this, I'm going to have Thursday night football up here in a few hours. I'm getting my looks done for that, player prop projections, and everything I have for Thursday night football. Right now, I'll just pull up my notes and tell you, since y'all are on the live show, what my plays are for Thursday night football as of right now. I got to put them in the VIP Discord, but I appreciate y'all's time. Right now, I like Aaron Rodgers to get 2 touchdown passes, and I like Garrett Wilson to have another game. I like him to get over on his longest reception for Garrett Wilson. Joe Mixon, I don't know what the fuck to do with because Joe Mixon has carried the ball 25 times in 2 straight games. And now he's on a short week of rest. I don't really trust it, but this Jets defense is much better at the pass. So I don't know what to do with that one, but I like Aaron Rodgers 2 TD passes, and I like Garrett Wilson long reception right now. Those are my 2 favorite plays of the week. So appreciate y'all. Going to be back tomorrow. Bring your bets. Jump in the comments. We'll keep getting it. I'm going to have Prop Bomb on either Thursday or Friday. Try to get Pips on here with him. Appreciate y'all as always, man. Until I do see y'all tomorrow, happy betting.